Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to my channel. I hope you are doing well. I'm also fine, thank you for asking. Okay, let us start the discussion, my dear friends. Today's topic is on vocabulary, and I'm going to cover particularly the areas that are known as laws and punishments. You know what happens when people start having communication with others, especially when they start an interaction with others, they can initiate the discussion, but it is very difficult to make it or to bring it to an end. Why? Because now you are getting the ideas in between, but you are not able to express just because of the lack of vocabulary. So this video will help you tremendously, but please note that the words that I'm going to discuss with you are absolutely natural phrases. So that means you cannot make even a single change while using them. Okay. So let us discuss what the topic is first of all. The topic in today's session is laws and punishments, and we are going to cover vocabulary. So I warmly welcome you, my dear friends, once again, and we shall start the discussion. First phrase here is a heavy fine. So, as in when I say that a heavy fine, how can I use it in a sentence? I can say that he was imposed a heavy fine. He was imposed a heavy fine for violating traffic rules. For violating traffic rules. Violating here means for breaking the laws. Okay. So, there are three terminologies which are frequently used. When I'm violating the laws, that means I'm not following the laws and they can harm to others. Suppose if you are not following the traffic norms, it can not only be harmful to you but also to others. But some of the times we use one term that is bend. They are trying to bend the laws. That means the people are not following the laws, especially those laws, those rules which are not going to harm others. But still, they are actually found to be necessary to be followed by us. Correct? So the first phrase that we have discussed now is a heavy fine. So what did I discuss? The concerned authorities have imposed a heavy fine on him for violating traffic norms, for violating traffic norms or traffic rules. Next phrase here is a serious matter. The word itself says that it is somewhere of high gravity. That means some of the areas, some of the things that we need to consider at the top priority. So I can say that it's a matter of great concern, or I can also say that it's a serious matter. You should take the stock of the situation as early as possible. Okay, so it is all about learn order situation. That's what we are discussing in this session. Next phrase here is severely punished. So if I say that severely punished, that means someone is being punished. Someone is punished severely. That means to an extreme level. So if an individual is given a death penalty, or suppose an individual is given 20, 30, or 50 years punishment, so I can say that he is punished severely or he is severely punished. So in both the cases it is correct. You can use adverb either putting it before the verb or after that. But yes, I'm using here before the verb. So okay. So what I've written here severely punished. He is severely punished for not following traffic rules. Absolutely, if you do not follow traffic rules, it is going to be dangerous for others also. Okay, so please, I humbly request you must follow traffic rules. Next phrase here is hard-hearted man. As in when I say that hard-hearted man, the word itself reflects its meaning. Hard-hearted, that means a person who is not generous enough, a person who is unkind. So in that case, I can say that he was given a punishment by a judge who was hard-hearted. Ever right? So similarly, where you can in a similar way you can use it in another scenarios. For example, he is a hard-hearted person and do not talk to him, do not beg for money, correct, or something like that, because he's not going to help you in any way. So that means he's not kind enough. And some of the people who are kind of like who are hard hearted, it does not mean that they are on the negative footing, on the negative side, but to some extent, being a police officer or being a judge, you have to take some hard decisions some of the times, meeting your requirements, and of course looking and following the norms of the laws. Am I right? Following certain provisions. So here you can use this term in both positive ways as well as in negative ways. What did I say? Hard hearted person. Next phrase here is carry out investigation. People generally say that the police has started, the police have, I'm sorry, the police have, it is considered to be plural. The police have started investigation. So before I say that they have started investigation, I can also say that they are carrying out investigation. They are carrying out investigation. It looks like more formal and more academic. The reason being is that I'm using one preposition also with this verb. Correct? That's why. So this is now carry out investigation. Let the concerned authorities carry out the investigation and matters will be settled accordingly. Next phrase here is harsh punishments. So if I say that harsh punishments, it actually means the same. When someone is punished severely or someone is severely punished, that means harsh punishment has been given to someone. Okay, harsh means somewhere to an extreme level. Next phrase here is suffer the consequences. Generally, people say that you will have to face the consequences, but I will say that you will suffer the consequences for the bad deeds that you had in the past. Am I right? You will have to face the consequences, but rather saying face, what did I say? You will have to face, you will have to suffer the consequences for the bad deeds that you had in the past. So, similarly, you can use it in any scenario you like. Consequences means some bad results, some unwanted results. Okay, of course, we have to get ready for them. Next one here is bend the rules. So what did I say here? First of all, suffer. Suffer means you also need to understand that this verb is very particular with the consequences. And consequences is considered to be the negative results, negative outcomes. It is generally due to something that has been done by you, and the people, or you may be given consequences. You will have to suffer consequences for being wrong or for taking a wrong decision. It may be there. Okay, so the next word that we discussed here is bend the rules. Bend the rules means, as I discussed with you, certain rules are utmost necessary that you must follow. But some rules may be there, if you do not follow, you are not going to harm others. So that means you are bending the rules. You are bending the rules here. I cannot say you are violating the norms. When you are violating, that means it is an extreme situation. Then of course a person is supposed to be severely punished, or a person should be given a harsh punishment. Next phrase here is considerable problems. Considerable means large, or I can say also, or I can also say that at noticeable stage. So if I say that they are facing considerable problems, so that means they are facing major issues, some bigger challenges, and they may require your help, something like that. Okay, so what did I discuss here? Considerable problems, that means noticeable, very noticeable problems or major issues where we need to help each other. Correct. Next phrase here is acts as a deterrent. Deterrent means something that restricts or forbids someone to do something. And suppose I say that corporal punishment acts as a deterrent. That means when a person is given a death sentence, it's a kind of demotivation, or it makes people not to commit such a crime where a death punishment is given. So that means a death punishment is acting as a deterrent. Am I right? It makes people not to commit crime in the society. Is it clear? So deterrent, I hope you have understood the meaning. So how can I use it? Something that acts as a deterrent. That means something that helps people not to commit crime. It suggests people, if you commit a crime, you will be given severe punishments, like that. So it is a kind of, I would say that the punishment that people, that instructs people not to do it. Otherwise, you will be severely punished. Next phrase here is a hard legal battle. As in when I say that a hard legal battle, that means I can use it in in a sentence. For example, because she has filed a case against her company, now she will have a hard legal battle. Hard legal battle, that means it's going to be hard, it's going to be very challenging for her. The reason being is that the legal process could be very complicated, and it may also take many years. So she will have to suffer. She will have to suffer. I'm not saying that on a permanent basis, but of course for a few years, until she gets the justice. She gets justice. Next phrase here is the new law prohibits. If I say that the concerned authorities, for example, there are three authorities in each country. The first one is legislature, that actually enacts the laws, that makes the laws, but I'm saying enacts the laws. Second authority is executive. Executive, that means the authority that implements the laws. And the third pillar here is judiciary. I believe you understand the court system and their areas or their work domains. Am I right? So if I talk about legislation that actually enacts the laws. So similarly, I can say that the legislature in our country enacted new laws. They have enacted new laws. So when I say that enacting new laws, I can say that the new laws the new law prohibits. So that means this new law is acting as a deterrent to prevent a particular crime. So this was actually based on a particular philosophy. Am I right? Or it covers a specific domain or area so that we can have a control or we can handle the situations very well. Next phrase here is face the death penalty. As in when I say that face the death penalty, so that means I'm going to talk about the culprits, the person who have committed, the persons who have committed crime, correct? And who is victim? Victim, that means the person who actually has been victimized. I mean to say the person who has been like who faced the negative situations when culprits were committing a crime against him or her. Am I right? So that person will become victim. The person who is committing a crime, they are actually culprit, or I can say that they are culprits. So I can say that the culprits will face a death penalty for committing such a heinous crime. For committing such a heinous crime. Next phrase here is pay or have a pay or face a heavy fine. So if I say that the concerned authorities have imposed a fine on him or a heavy fine on him. Similarly, I can say that he will have to face a fine or he will have to pay a fine. So you can use either of these two verbs, face a fine or pay a fine, or you can also write like that, pay a heavy fine or something like that, depending on your requirements. Okay. Next phrase here is enforce the law. As and when I say that enforce the law, enforcement means implementation, the execution side. So I can say that a new organization has been established to enforce the laws that have been recently enacted by the state legislature. Am I right? So legislature can either be at a central level, at federal level, I mean to say at a central government level, and it could also be there at state level. There may be lawmaking authorities at a district level. Okay, so some of the countries are following two-tier system, but others are following three-tier system. Again, it all is it. I would say that each and everything is mentioned in the fundamental law of the country, that is known as a constitution. So it can help us to understand how the things can go ahead and at which level what authority has been vested to a particular authority. Next phrase here is it now seems impossible that. You can use this phrase any way you like, but why I have written here, because you have to understand that when you're using now, it has to come immediate after the subject but before the verb. Or before, yeah, this is before the verb here. It now seems impossible that. It now seems impossible that I may rejoin you. That can be a statement. Am I right? It seems it now seems impossible that I may accompany you for this on this trip, something like that. So, my dear friends, let us recall what did we discuss in today's session. What the topic was? The topic was laws and punishments, and we have covered nearly 16 phrases here. The first phrase here is a heavy fine. Second one was a serious matter. So, you can say that the authorities must take the stock of the situation at the earliest possible because it is a serious matter. Am I right? Serious matter. Next one is severely punished, extremely punished to a great extent. Next, hard-hearted man. Hard-hearted man means to say a person who is going to follow norms strictly. That kind of this kind of person will be a positive person who is doing his or her duty. But on the another side, a person may be there who is not kind enough to help others. So here I can also use that he is a hard-hearted person. Next phrase here is carry out investigation. So you can say that the police are carrying out investigation or they are investigating the matter. That's it, simply. Next is harsh punishments, severe punishments. Suffer the consequences. Consequences means negative outcomes. So whatever you have done in the past, you will have to face the consequences. Clearly? Is it clear? So that means these are the outcomes. Outcomes. But of course, negative outcomes. Next one here is bend the rules. I discussed with you bend the rules. That means the rules that have been framed, they have been enacted by the authorities. You have to follow them, but these rules do not harm others, but you are not following them. And when you are not following them, it is not going to harm others. I can say that you are bending the rules. But my dear friends, please follow the rules. Next. Considerable problems. Considerable means noticeable, very noticeable problems. Next one here is acts as a deterrent. If I say that he acts as a deterrent, that means he can restrict the situation. He can restrict a certain thing to happen. For example, if I say that a new law has been enacted by the state legislature or the central legislature, of course it is going to act as a deterrent because it is based on certain provisions where we might have imposed a very strict norms of punishment. Maybe we are giving death sentence or corporal punishment to someone. So that means I'm going to protect people, and thus these provisions will act as a deterrent. So that means when someone reads it, there's a death sentence. So automatically the person will restrain of doing such act. Am I right? It will a kind of demotivation. Someone will come to know these are the going to be consequences for me if I commit such a crime. So automatically such situation will be like that only. So such a situation will be known as deterrent. Okay. Next here is a hard legal battle. It's very easy. Hard means it's not so easy, full of challenges. Hard legal battle. The new law prohibits. That means the new law prohibits. It forbids people or it asks people not to do something. Okay, on a negative side, or it restricts. Next here is face the death penalty. Face the death penalty means that people are facing the death penalty. That means they are going to face something that is known as a death penalty or corporal punishment. If it happens, that means we are going to take it as a deterrent so that others do not commit such a crime. There may be a situation. Next one here is pay or face a heavy fine. When I say that pay or face a heavy fine, that means it is a verb. You can choose any of these two, pay or face a heavy fine. Okay. Force the law. When I say that force the law, that means implementation of the law. Force means enforcement. It is very clear, I believe. Am I right? Execution side or the implementation. And the last phrase that I discussed with you, it now seems impossible that you can use this phrase in any situation you like. Okay, my dear friends, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video must have helped you to learn few, rather saying few, I should say that a few natural phrases that can help you to make your communication skills better than earlier, or I can say far better than earlier. Thank you so much for watching a video. I hope to meet you soon, very soon. Okay, so I shall be recording few more videos and we will be meeting again. Thanks a lot. Enjoy learning with us. Enjoy learning with Aryan Career. Thanks a lot.